I get the cheat code, I'm a beast. They said they'll never let me out of lease. Stop out the cap, I'm just trying to see. You really back what you talk on the beat. They put me in, I'ma walk on the beat. I eat my plate and it make me obese. I been pushing lyrics like a kingpin. And when today we got no rings.
What's up? What's up? What's
Olaf.
up?
You look good in pink.
Yeah.
It's the Florida in him.
My daughter picked these out today.
Absolutely. Oldest daughter?
Youngest daughter.
Youngest daughter.
5-year-old.
Very nice.
Yeah.
She's got a dare I say, a stylist in the making.
Yeah.
She's got a pinch for it.
Dare I say?
Dare I say?
Dare I say?
Dare
What's
I
up,
say
guys?
stylist. I like the Rari hat. Is the pink
This is
available
vintage.
online?
No, this is vintage. This is a very, very old. So this
So that's
is
a throwback.
This is when Ferrari actually sent me a letter, a cease and desist letter, because I was using their font. Yeah. So I had to
Seriously?
change- yeah, I was using their font.
Okay.
And I was making money.
It's kind of fire though.
It was
It's
fire
a
though.
throwback.
I have LeBron slides that would match
So I had
that
to take
hat.
everything down.
And so do
on
you.
this
You have
font.
the LeBron shoes.
How
that
many
would
of
match
those
that
hats
hat.
did you make? That particular one? Pink like that.
This one I did drops. Like I did like 20 a pop, but I was selling for 45 a hat.
How many hats did you make?
Total?
Look at you
Just
doing
of
the
that
math.
particular one.
20.
20.
Yeah, 20.
So the reason we talked about that is off camera we were talking about repurposing.
Yes.
Mhm.
So 20 would mean that hat is one of 20.
Correct.
So not only is it vintage, but it's also a limited edition.
Correct.
So that changes the price.
Yeah.
So it's like having a poster that you could sell for $10, but if you make it a limited edition lithograph commemorating the release of an album, you probably charge $49 because you added 8 extra words to the
Funny
title.
story about these hats. These hats pay my rent. I was
Woo!
broke.
Yeah, that's not a funny story.
I
That's a
just,
story of triumph.
People didn't know my name when I was hosting parties in the club. This is way before Fly Guy DC, before Obi the promoter. It was just Ferrari Simmons, Kenny Burns, K Bachi. I was doing all the big parties, and I had people kept saying, "Who's that guy on the mic?" So I started putting my name on my hat, and I would say Rari. So then Tyrese
Branding.
went to V103. I had gave the program director Reggie Rouse one time for Reggie Rouse. I gave him a hat. He's a Q dog. He put it on his desk. Boom. Tyrese needed a haircut because he's bald, so he had hair growing in. He put the hat on and wore it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I got
That's
the picture,
awesome.
post that shit online. I made
NFT.
$5,000 that day.
No, he didn't, Ferrari.
I made $5,000 that
No,
day.
he didn't, Ferrari. We didn't make any money off of that hat.
Oh, my bad. I did not.
We didn't make
I did
anything
not.
off of that.
I'm
Monopoly
just
money.
joking.
It was all.
I did not
just
make
made
any
believe
money.
That. He didn't
Yeah.
make any money off
It
of
was
that.
food stamps. I made 5,000.
We're talking about the hats without the letters on them. We didn't do
Talking
any
about
of
merch.
That. Yeah, we're just talking about wholesaling.
Anyway, and it's on my. Is it this right one? Yeah. Boom.
That'd be
Nice.
funny if you put up the wrong arm.
Facts.
That'd have been
snap.
hysterical. Oh, ho, ho.
Wow. Is this the first time Wendy's phone
I
went off?
know.
Okay.
KLC.
Are you ready, Kingpin? Wendy Day.
I'm trying not to cuss. Have I cussed already this episode?
No, you did good.
All right, cool.
They were not
I may
flagged.
have.
I'm trying not to.
How can artists prepare for summer 2023?
Get in the gym. What are you talking about?
Oh, for music, to drop music?
Or just period, for the summer period?
Well, you would have had to have already dropped by now because it takes months of build up to
Mhm.
get, especially if you're going for radio. And I'm not, that question wasn't detailed enough.
It's
but,
kind of broad, so we can
Yeah.
simplify it if maybe.
So
if need
it
be.
takes 12 to 16 weeks to get popping at radio. So if you want to be at radio in June, you've got to count back 4 months from there. So you got to start in February.
Mm.
And before you go for radio, you want to make sure you're popping digitally and on the streets. So really you need to be working like in the fall for a summer
in the
record.
fall the year before
Mhm.
And be
to
mindful.
get ready for the
and
summer
be
the year
mindful
after.
because the last
Correct.
2 months of last year count, but they don't. It's hard to get people to do things when they're physically not there to do them. I'll tell you a fun fact. I just had an artist that was going crazy because Universal released a record for them and loaded it on the wrong pro. This is one of the biggest record labels in the world.
Actually, it's the biggest.
Okay. Matter of fact, here's a fun fact that the cheat code is going to share with you. You know what the most commonly misused, illegally used image in the world is?
What?
The parental advisory sticker.
Wow.
There's only 3 companies in the world that are authorized to use that sticker. One of them is Universal.
Hmm.
So I say all of that to say this, that when they loaded the profile on the wrong platform, the biggest record label in the world is having an issue, so much so 6-7 days into it, they still can't get it added. They got it moved, but they got it moved to another wrong profile. So do you think that's more a universal issue or that 11% of Spotify people being laid off right around the pandemic issue? What do you think is going to start happening with Tidal and YouTube and all these other companies? Because the people that were there to handle the increase and flux of all of this extra stuff are gone. So if you want to drop in June, you need to start planning from June last year Because where are we going to go when we drop? We're going to hit the radio. Cool. Where does that money come from? What cities are we going to go to? Do we know what markets we're going to go to the radio in? How are we going to stop along those markets?
And it starts long before radio. Let's not bill radio like it's the first stop. It's the last stop.
That's if you want to do radio. I mean, do you want to visit college towns? Do you want to visit school
I'd rather
towns?
do that.
Do you want to go to the South? The South, this is where you start to visit your up north markets because you're not going up north in the snow.
Yeah.
Right?
Started my new job and I had a call and here it is February and they're planning for November. They're planning for winter. They're planning for the following year because summer's already planned out.
Yes,
So
it's been planned out.
It's been planned out, in motion. Deposits have been made.
Their budget was
Designs
set.
have been sent off. Budgets are set.
Budgets
multiple
are set in
budgets,
September,
too.
October for the following year.
Several moving pieces, bro. An engine, it requires.
Okay, so you
spark
and I have
plugs
a
and
client that we
belts
work with together. You and I have a client that we work with together. And you and I client may sometimes not understand the level of the budgeting that's required to be consistently expensed out for a plethora of things to get accomplished.
Right.
Can we talk about that?
No
Plethora.
longevity. They don't see
It's
the
a
longevity
plethora of
into it.
things. It's things all the way over
It's-
here to all the way over here that have to get done.
Yes.
It's cool for me to think about June and July, but when you start putting those numbers from October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May on me in June, then it starts to make things intimidating. And these are the people that have no sense of longevity. They don't see themselves. I heard somebody say this. Be willing to do this 10,000 times. It may not take you 10,000. It may take you 5.
Yeah.
It may take you 75. It may take you 372. It may take you 406.
It may take you 10,000 times.
Be ready
may.
to do it 10,000 times until it happens for you. There's no longevity in it. These guys, they see a feature, they go get a feature and won't factor in, well, you go get a big artist feature because this artist was on the radio. And we hear people say historically that it takes $250,000, right? So if you get a big artist feature and you don't have $250,000 to yield that same result for that artist, what was the point of the feature?
Yeah.
If these are the things that you're trying to enlist this artist and their fan base and their listenership or their viewership or leverage their exposure, whatever it is, you have to be able to equal or match those resources. And most people don't have a clear understanding of how social media works, let alone of how distribution works. They hear everybody tell them, do it your way. Go online, do it right now, man. Do it for the love. It's going to be somebody that's going to watch the clip of this video and is going to be in the comments going to say, we're telling them to do it wrong and tell them the exact opposite of what to do right. So it's, there's, how do you plan for the summer? You never stop planning. You never stop planning. Everything that happens today is we planned that months and weeks ago. And it has to, because what happens when you insert the manage the exception? What happens when you get booked to Jimmy Kimmel? What happens when you have to go and you start getting booked to your shows? What happens when you got to start doing radio runs? What happens when you get offered a new job? And everything that you had planned out now has to be moved around.
Shawna.
You see what I'm saying to you? But that's called managing the exception. And without having that schedule in place,
I missed that call today
chaos
as well. I was
for
saying I
you.
missed that call
It's
today.
going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. You're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to figure out why it's not working for you. Could you imagine having the recipe to bake a cake, not having all the ingredients and thinking, I don't taste vanilla in there, so I don't need vanilla when I make my cake.
Stop right there. Question to both of you. The recipe to bake a cake, is there an exact recipe to win?
No, there's many recipes to
Are
win.
there exact steps to
There's
take?
1,000 recipes for cakes.
Yeah.
Mm.
You get a
Yeah.
recipe for cake that's the foundation and you add your own razzle dazzle. Maybe what if you want to add banana extract to your cake to add a little extra flair to it? What if you want to make a non-dairy cake? What if you want to make a non-dairy sugar-free cake? There's 1,000 different ways to make cake, but guess what? You still got to put it in the oven for 15 minutes. And if you live in different altitudes, maybe 20. You still have to put it in the oven and you still got to let it sit. You still got to let it chill. You still got to let it rest. All of these things still have to happen. No, this culture, put it in the pot, bake it. It's edible. Slap it on a plate. Look, you don't like it? You're a hater. You haven't even tasted it yet. That's what this.
I'm going to buy likes for my cake.
That's what this is. Now, exactly. I'm going to buy taste buds for it. That's what this is. And it's nothing more than that, bro.
I'm going to pay for Wendy Day to help me.
Is there a recipe for success? Somebody on this panel wrote I'm trying not to cuss, wrote a book about it. and is writing the remix to the book about it. And guess what? I guarantee you that same person has read every book that has been written about being successful in the music business.
Every book.
So that she can formulate her own educated, respected opinion on
Plus,
how
I do
to
it
do
every
this.
day.
Is there a recipe for it, bro? Chef Wendy has written it for us.
There's a million ways to succeed. You just have to pick one. And I think sometimes what artists do is they pick one and they start down the path and it's not happening fast enough. So they switch paths and then that path doesn't work, or they listen to somebody that's not successful yet and that path doesn't work and they get frustrated. But if you find a path that works and you get on that path and you just tweak it a little to the left and a little to the right, but you keep going down that path, you're going to get there. It's just time in. If you're on the right path, it's time in and you have good music.
Good music carries you. Good music makes it easier for the people that you're going to meet along the way to help you.
Exactly. And we know we have good music because we test everything. We have somebody on staff and his sole fucking job is to test music.
Jar.
Yeah.
Swear jar.
Pineapple.
Whoops. Whoops. Whoopsie.
Who taught him pineapple?
You did. Episode maybe 10. So do we ever stop?
Never stop testing recipes.
Do we ever stop anything?
No.
Never.
No.
We always try new shit.
You never, any successful baker, any successful athlete, LeBron James, the day after LeBron James lost the NBA championship, he was in the gym watching the parade. Stop for what? Why? You're tired, you rest. When you're rested, you go back to work.
And you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. It's really
like
that simple.
Keeping tabs on it.
And
That's
we
what
always talk about fail
repurposing.
faster.
Always keep tabs on everything, man. You put out a record, when did you put it out? When did you upload it? You don't have that information written down. How could you use what you did right or wrong for your next release?
And every market is different. Like you work the record you work the song in the markets where it's going to react. And then if you're going for Gen Z, you're going to do different stuff than if you're going for millennials. And we go for Gen Z because that's the largest group of fans that have money to spend on music.
So much so that Spotify is unveiling a new music discovery method on their platform. You're going to be able to swipe left and right on a bitch on Spotify. I want you to think about what that's going to do to your non-genre, non-language posted music. Your shit gonna show up on Serbian and Indonesian Spotify pages, and them folk ain't gonna understand it, and they gonna thumb your shit down just cause it's in the way. Look.
So is that like Tinder for Spotify?
Look, it's like this. Swipe it. Just haters. Imagine that, bro. Imagine the hater that's gonna swipe. YouTube Music just unveiled a new radio station. Did you know that? You can go right now into YouTube Music on your app and add 30 artists and then adjust your radio station to how you want your YouTube Music experience to be. Because don't make no mistake, YouTube is the #1 music discovery platform
in the
globe.
world. Yep.
Make no mistake about it. And that's why everybody runs there with their ad dollars.
96%
Give
of
me
people
more. Give
use
me more
YouTube.
attention. They run there with their money. Give me more attention. It's from India. I want more. It's from Italy. I want more. It's from Nigeria. Give me more. Give me likes too. Can you give me comments? Give me English comments from the people in Nigeria. That's what I want. Give me that.
Kingpin, you are crazy. Okay. Dear Chico.
I love you so much.
First of all, I would like to say thank you guys for dropping gems that you do. As a music manager, being a student of the game helps me continue to learn. I'm currently going back and watching all of you guys' videos.
Thank you.
I had a question for Wendy. Artists interested in staying independent but would like a distribution deal, what company would you suggest they go through, which is your experience is the best for those looking for a distribution deal but will also like to stay independent?
You have to have distribution or you're not an independent artist or a do-it-yourselfer. I think TuneCore and DistroKid are great places to start because if you don't have a lot of streams already, it's going to be hard to go and get an actual distribution deal because the bigger distribution platforms like Symphonic, 1RPM, Stem, Command Shift, whoever, United Masters, you need to have a little bit of a track record to really benefit.
Yeah.
They're going to want you to have a track record to benefit them.
And they want things differently. They want songs 30 days in advance.
Yeah.
They want writer credits. They want
6
information.
weeks if you're going to pitch to Spotify.
They want it all, baby.
Yeah.
All that Willie fly by night, join it up there. DistroKid, do you have videos you want to upload? Then I would suggest DistroKid.
Same.
DistroKid does song and videos.
Yeah, same.
But do your research.
And
Don't take my worst thing for it.
they're in bed very tightly with Spotify. So and Spotify's the biggest platform of the DSPs. So I'm a big fan of DistroKid.
So am I. I think, people have a hard time. People say, man, I can't ever get a hold of nobody because you ask all the wrong questions. If you're having an issue with your DistroKid account, with your distribution account, if you're having a question that you want to ask about a particular song, don't just email them and say, hey, where's my song? How about you provide some of that information that they provided to you when you uploaded that joker? I don't know, say issue with UPC number, because that's the identifier. That's your universal product code. So in their system and in the system of every other tracking or monitoring program in the world, that number represents your song. So how about we start with that?
And how about the ISRC code? Would you explain that?
That's the DNA. That's your social security number for your record. When you're born and they give you that number will never change. That number will be with that version of the song. There's twins. Guess what? Twins don't get the same social security number. They get separate social security numbers. They may even be one after the other. QZ 34 blah, 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 001 and the other one is blah, 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 002. So, just be mindful. All of this information is essential for you to have. Can I tell you how the best way for you to stay independent is?
Yes.
Establish ownership. Independent means I'm doing it on my own. If I own my own stuff, if I'm putting my plan together, I'm using my resources, I'm putting together my own pitches, I'm putting together my own money, or I'm enlisting people to become business partners to split, guess what I'm doing? I'm remaining independent. You want somebody to do it for you? Come off of it then, bro. What you giving up? Publishing? You giving up some on the front end, you're giving up some on the back end, you're giving up
control,
merch. What you
ownership,
control,
yeah.
what you
money,
giving up? You don't,
everything.
Everything.
You don't want to do this every day? Then cool. We do this every day. This is what we want to make that happen. And that's how these major corporations are thinking about you. If you don't have the information, they really want you. Come on, Goofy. We really want you
And
over
to
here.
be clear, or let me speak for myself, I don't hate major labels. There's a lot of artists out here that can't do this by themselves. They can't. So thank God for major labels to step in and help them. But you have to understand what you're giving up and what you're getting in return for what you're giving up. And it's got to make sense for you as an artist.
And also appreciate the fact that the artists that are making noise are the ones that get attention. The kid who's excelling at sports is the one that has to get driven to the park.
Yes.
The kid that's doing great in math class is the one that has to get driven to after school festivals. And you have to buy more books for them, and you invest in a tablet and a computer because they require more. They're special.
Yes.
If you don't require more and you're not doing more, then you're not special. It's okay to not be special, bro. Everybody is not meant to be special.
So 2 cool things happened in the past 2 weeks. One is I got access to the research and data for Warner, not through you. You weren't at the company yet. At Warner. And then I got access through ATL Jacob for the Universal. And
Platoon.
And it's amazing to see what their data shows, and Chartmetric even, because they can see who has fake followers and who has real engagement. And we always talked about this. We always talked about the fact that you can tell, but I didn't realize that the major labels can see it like predominantly. They don't look at your Instagram numbers, your YouTube numbers, or any of your numbers. To be honest, they look at your information inside of their dashboard, and that tells them everything they need to know.
What are those numbers called on the bottom of an Instagram picture or on the bottom of a YouTube video?
Insights?
No, my guy.
Ego boosts?
Those are called vanity
metrics.
Oh, vanity metrics.
Like that
vanity
Fugazi-ass costume jewelry that you have on. Those numbers are vanity metrics. You know what the cost of vanity is, bro? High.
I had no idea, though, that it was that obvious. We've always talked about why somebody shouldn't do the fake shit. But if you're trying to get a record deal,
it's poison.
They're not even seeing your numbers if they're fake. They're just not seeing you at all. You're not in the data whatsoever. Chartmetric ranks every rapper by a number from 1 to 2 million.
I'll tell you what.
On their data.
Do you know who we talked about him the other day via group text message, and our young lad put us on him a few months ago. You know who Lil Tyler is?
Yeah.
You know his single? He's on a cover of like 3 Spotify playlists.
Fire.
You want to know why? Because people go to the app and they search for him, bro.
What?
People
they actually want to hear his music
and look for him so much so that Spotify says, "Hey, Jack, we want young kids to come over here and listen to our app.
Yes.
So let's put him on the cover of a playlist."
Yes. How old is he? 16?
How old is
He's killing it.
17.
17, he's killing it.
Research.
Shout out to Atlantic.
Research.
Atlantic approved my interview.
Research is done.
That was funny.
So that you can uncover the truth. Stop thinking that the people that you want to help you become a millionaire are too stupid to uncover the truth. We know what you did last summer with your PPP money. We know what you did with it.
Cheat code.
Cheateth Kodai.